Gavin, what did Mary Lou McDonald have to say?
In short, Geraldine, Mary Lou McDonald said that if she hadn't tabled a motion of no confidence in Helen McEntee as the Minister for Justice, people would be asking why. There has been a regular refrain from Sinn Féin spokespeople in the Dáil and elsewhere in the last 7 days that they don't have confidence in Helen McEntee. There have been many calls in the Dáil chamber for her to go, or for the Taoiseach to remove her from the post. Sinn Féin said that the ball had been in the Taoiseach's court up until now, but if the government wasn't going to remove her from that role as Minister for Justice, then Sinn Féin would do what it could to possibly do so. It was put to Mary Lou McDonald that getting rid of the Sinn Féin, or getting rid of Helen McEntee, as Minister for Justice, would be precisely what some of those who had demonstrated on the streets last Thursday and what had ultimately caused some disruption and disorder on the streets, exactly what they would have wanted, the removal of the Minister for Justice. Mary Lou McDonald says it's not for that reason that they're moving this motion.
Government has failed for a long time to resource the Gardaí, to ensure visibility on the streets and a sense of calm and a sense of safety, and that needs to stop. That's what stops the people that you have described continuing to behave in the manner that you have described. And when all of that happened, Helen McEntee was in charge. The Commissioner was in charge, but Helen McEntee was the Minister. Where was she? Where was she? And why was there not the correct and proper response? Because that has happened on her watch.
Now, this might be a big act of political theatre, and it means that this will dominate when the Dáil comes back from its weekend recess next Tuesday, but it's not something which, it must be said, will have been much of a surprise to the government. Sinn Féin had already indicated that it was going to use its Dáil time next Tuesday to table some motion related to justice issues and the fallout from the rioting 8 days ago. Taoiseach Micheál Martin, speaking in Dundalk a short time ago, had this to say in response.
I think this is further illustration and confirms that the only response one can expect from Sinn Féin in the face of any challenge to society is to exploit the crisis as opposed to come forward with proposals or solutions to a particular crisis. But one shouldn't be seeking to gain electoral or political advantage, in my view, on the basis of such an event as we experienced last week. I think it's, again, it shows up, in my view, the irresponsible approach that Sinn Féin has taken.
So, no major surprise in this announcement today from Sinn Féin, the formal tabling of a motion of no confidence, which, if passed, would result in Helen McEntee being stripped from the position. It could bring Ireland very close to a snap general election if it was perceived that the Taoiseach didn't have the prerogative to appoint whomsoever he liked into various cabinet roles. The Taoiseach said that he is quite confident that the government will be able to stave this off. The government does still have a bare bones majority of TDs in the Dáil chamber, but it has been reliant in recent votes on responses and votes from independent TDs too. And it will be interesting to see over the weekend whether any of them are prepared to commit to supporting Helen McEntee in this vote, given what we've seen on the streets in the last 8 days.